to you by High Level. And not only will we have two special presentations from High Level delving into AI-powered community building and the AI blueprint, turning customers into raving fans. And that's hosted by Emma Jackson, the senior managing partner from High Level. Look for these sessions on your dashboard. But there's going to be a live raffle on Friday, midday Pacific time, and you could win a brand new Apple iPad. And so the raffle is free to attend, but you do need to register to attend. So look for that button on this page, and I think Elisa will go ahead and put that in the chat box as well. So be sure to get signed up for that raffle there on Friday. And also, don't forget to grab your copy of the AI Writing Summit 3.0 Gold Pass. It'll give you lifetime access to all the recordings and transcripts for the entire summit, including both the keynote interviews and the panel discussions, as well as the special presentations. Plus, you'll get over $6,000 worth of courses and masterclasses and workshops and prompt engineering tutorials and a whole bunch of other resources. And you get it all for probably less than you spend on a full tank of gas. So there's a link on this page, so before you leave, be sure to check out the Gold Pass and grab your copy. So we're going to take about 45 minutes here today and delve deeply into this morning's topic, which is building your AI writing empire from the single tool to multi-agent workflows. So everybody starts out with like one AI tool, but the real leverage, that kicks in when your tools start talking to each other, right? In this session, we're going to sit down with creators who've gone from experimenting with a single AI issue to building full-blown multi-agent systems that handle research, drafting, editing, formatting, and a bunch more. We'll unpack real workflows and hear how they decide what to automate and what never should be automated and what they wish they'd known before scaling. So let's go ahead and meet our panelists. First up, we have Tim Mayle, founder of TKM PM and IT Solutions, which is a UK-based provider of reliable, cost-effective technology support, specializing in minimum downtime and maximum security. The company offers 24/7 services, including hardware repair, system upgrades, network setup, web hosting, and on-site remote assistance. Next, we have Megan Bunnell. Megan is the founder of Megan Bunnell Coaching, speaker, podcaster, and life coach, helping high-achieving women hustle less and sparkle more. She credits her international use of AI, even simple tools such as ChatGPT, with creating more freedom, clarity, and results, proving technology plus aligned strategy can be game-changing. And next, last but not least, is Kimberly Crow. Kimberly is an international inspirational public speaker and entrepreneur who has spoken on over 5,000 stages, including TEDx Las Vegas, and she is the creator of Entrepreneurs Rocket Fuel and the co-host of Speakers Playhouse, where every week she literally hands people the mic and helps them get booked. And so let's go ahead, you guys. So, by the way, welcome everybody. And let's go ahead and jump right into the questions. And so the first question I have is, what was the first AI tool you integrated into your writing process, and what prompted you to expand beyond it? And so let's go ahead and start with Kimberly and get a response.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of ChatGPT. I was an early adopter and absolutely love it. Of course, before that, there were all kinds of AIs that we were all using. We just didn't know we were using them, like Alexa or Siri, or even anything that just automates stuff. So back in 2017, I was using ActiveCampaign to automatically email my whole list. And so AI, when people think about it, they're thinking about the newest, latest, greatest versions of it. But AI has been around for a long time. And when people talk to me about, how scared they are to use AI or implement it, I find it funny that they will be happy to talk to Siri on their phone and get directions.
Yeah, all that autocorrect stuff we've been using for years,
Absolutely.
that's really AI,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
I used Grammarly very, very early on, but people don't think in terms of that being like the autocorrect or the checking for you on your behalf. So Grammarly, ActiveCampaign, there's Zapier, which I have a love-hate relationship with, but my favorite currently is ChatGPT.
Nice. All right. Awesome. Megan, how about you? What was the first AI tool you integrated?
Yeah, I mean, before we even were using the term really AI, I was definitely a Siri and an Alexa fan. Obviously, had a ton of things like Active Campaign. Chat GPT, I think, was the first one that I intentionally used where you put in a very specific prompt. And it was at the beginning just brainstorming, outlining, but that helped me get past a blank page faster, right? But then as my company grew and the demand for content increased, podcast scripts and assessments, email sequences, etc. We started using a ton of different AI tools for all of our different phases, like through our processes and our flows. And so it doesn't really, in my business at least, replace our writing, but it speeds up our ideation, clarity, and then gives us more time for strategy and voice refinement. And it's a solid check so that you don't make mistakes anywhere because it'll catch them for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Tim, let's get a response from you on that.
Um, yeah, well, very similar to certainly Megan and Kimberly's background. Coming from setting these systems up and in the corporate world over, I'm going to say over 20 years ago, I saw a lot of the early equivalents of what you now call AI that makes things simple, like setting up all the stuff behind the CRM DMS. Zapier, I absolutely love it. I've been using it since way before it was more integrated, when it was kind of a connecting one to another, which it shouldn't do. It was my go-to when I decided to custom write something. And now I do a combination of, depending what my clients need. Some are more Google people, some are more anti-Google. So then I use the Chat GPT approach for them. But yeah, so I go from one to the other, but it's, I said, because I've got different clients into different perspectives and different viewpoints on it.
Okay, awesome. And so, you guys, can you walk us through a specific multi-agent workflow that you've built and explain how each agent contributes to that final product? Kimberly, have you done multi-agent workflows?
Yes, of course. One of the things that happens very commonly in my world, where we're sending out emails not just from ourselves but from our affiliate market folks, people that we're advertising, that one of our friends has something coming up, right? And they'll send example emails, what they call swipe copy. And you'll get this swipe copy, and it won't be at all in your voice or your tone or your language. So if you've trained your Chat GPT or whatever your AI preference is, there's other ones out there, Perplexity and Claude and many others. I just happen to be a user of ChatGPT. You just put it in there and just say, make this sound more like Kimberly Crow. And so once that comes back out, then that goes over to my team. And I'm fortunate to have a team of human beings that are VAs in the Philippines. They're phenomenal. And so they load that into Active Campaign. Then they'll send a test email to me and I'll read through it. It does require for me a personal check at the end of it. There's some AI-isms that drive me bananas crazy. And if I see them in other people's, it just is like, that's so AI. One of them, for example, is, it's not just any summit, or it's not just a boring summit, it's a really transformational summit or whatever. And it's in every AI copy that I see. So I always delete that out and make sure that it looks like it would really come from me. So it
Yeah.
comes back to a human process. And then once I approve it, my team will then go and schedule it. We may run it through something like Grammarly or something like that, but ChatGPT has pretty solid grammar at this point. So we're using that less and less. So that's just one example of using something where it's coming to you in a canned format and you need to personalize it. And funny that AI is actually personalizing things for me, but it certainly works well. So that's just one
Right.
example. I'm sure your other panelists have more.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like almost exactly how we use it. Um, and I've been out on use Claude and GenSpark and all these things, and I've come back to Chat GPT 5 lately. Has been working really well for me with all of our swipe copy and email and stuff like that. So thank you. And Megan, let's get a response from you on that.
Yeah, I'll use the example of when I'm putting out a podcast episode. So it's not just, ask ChatGPT and hope for magic, right? But there's a multi-agent workflow that goes through that. And so within that workflow, though, and this is, I think, the really important part, and Kimberly mentioned this too, is that when you're using any sort of AI, the information and quality that you feed in is what you get back out, right? So if it knows you, it knows your tone, and you can train it to do that, then your quality is going to come back out. So just kind of upfront, and I think we're going to talk about that later too. But if you have carefully crafted, high quality, high specificity prompts, then that's what allows the outputs to be the same. So usually I start with my content. I use tools like either Perplexity or ChatGPT, and that will get our Perplexity is like our research agent, and then ChatGPT is where we get our custom online prompts that are going to come out, and they structure it for us. And then I either use Claude or ChatGPT as the drafting agent for it. And then after that, it goes through like human review, and then I use a voice tuning agent. So I actually have names in ChatGPT of who I want it to sound like, what I want it to sound like. So do I want it to be sassy, raw, humorous, very professional, whatever. And so it's basically a prompt that is trained to the style that I want. And then the wording sounds right to me. And then we do fact checking, proofing. Sometimes we use Grammarly, sometimes ChatGPT. And then finally it comes back to me. And that's just on the writing of the actual episode. But then we have automations that happen in the back end as far as making sure that it goes out on time. That's all automated. The newsletters, the blogs, the posts, like all of that is automated through different processes as well. And so I'm always the voice behind it and the experience and the storyteller, but that AI just makes that process
So
much more efficient.
let me get this straight. You're automating the email sending as well?
Yeah. And so there's a flow that goes through. We have a custom built website that we put in AI into so that we can just plug in the episode and the transcript, and then it creates this email blast that's going to go out that I check, of course, to make sure that it sounds like what it should sound like. And then it automates it based on the lists that we have built in. So it knows which, who it's sending it to and when,
Very
and then when it's
cool.
posting.
Very cool. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
And Tim, can you walk us through a multi-agent workflow?
Yeah. So a lot of what I do, it's more on the corporate, the business side of it. So I mean, generally, our start if so they want something set up that's make one thing talk to another. I will use something like ChatGPT sometimes to help. Where I used to custom write a lot of the code for things making one talk to another. Yes, I use ChatGPT to help speed that process up for me, and then I'll just adjust the little bits to make it work. But when it gets to a certain point, like generating the reports, it goes ChatGPT. One of my clients, for example, has got part ChatGPT, but then they're more Google Office based company. So then I switch it so it runs through Google Gemini, as they call it now, formerly Bard. And then that does the quality check. So when someone fills a form out of their website, if or the person in the office has missed filling out something they shouldn't do in some way, not they can do, but it does just in case, it acts as a safety net. So it won't let it go through. But then there's still people involved after that. But yeah, I kind of use it as I call it a guard dog bit beforehand. But with a person checking before it goes out, I call it publicly in this case, because one of them's actually a marketing company, so they don't want to get those details wrong.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And looks like we've got Alexa here. Good morning, Alexa. Let me introduce Alexa briefly. Alexa is a results coach, an AI strategist, and a former Tony Robbins coach, helping high-performing professionals harness AI to implement their impact. Her mission is to show purpose-driven professionals how to let AI handle the heavy lifting so they can focus on impact and creativity. So welcome, Alexa, and we will get you into the next round of questions here. So Speaking of which, how do you decide which tasks in your creative process are worth automating versus keeping manual? So Kimberly, again, let's start with you.
Well, if I don't have to be there or show up, we're going to try to push it to AI in some possible way. But there are things that you can and should, I guess you can, but you should not process with AI. There are last minute checks for all emails that go out. I just don't feel comfortable enough with the AI in its present form to just let it run rampant over my email. I have a very large email list of 50,000, and if I'm sending 50,000 emails in a single batch, it better sound like me, right? We don't want any mistakes in there. So it's got to have some sort of personal touch there. Of course, I love showing up on video and camera, so I don't do any of I do actually have Pictory and several others that will generate AI videos with AI voices for advertising purposes. We have one running right now on Facebook that's inviting people to do our freebie, which is great. And it's been bringing people in, but it's not my voice. It's not my face. It's not my name. So we're trying it out, but I don't know how much I'm going to lean into that. If we have an individual strength or something that we like doing, I think we should continue to do that. And then as soon as we have things that we don't like, I think that's when we look into moving it to AI. I used to have an acronym that was Get on the Road to Joy. ROAD is the acronym. And R is relish. If you relish it, keep doing it. If you love doing it, if you love building your website, build your website. That's awesome. If you love writing emails, write emails. But if you don't love doing it anymore, then put it in one of the other buckets. Outsource, automate, or delegate, or delete it entirely. So AI has been all three of those buckets for me in a big way.
Hey, quick question. I'm wondering how much Facebook advertising you do as opposed to things like JV and other partnership type promoting.
Yeah, most of my leads and email list has been built from strictly speaking on other people's stages and connecting with joint venture partners, and doing some sort of giveaway or trade with human interaction. We are testing out Facebook ads and seeing how they work. So a couple $100 a month isn't a big investment for me. So happy to do that and see what strategies work and play with that a little bit. It's been driving some business directly in that helps me not fish from the same pond I've been fishing in. So
Right.
I think there's some advantage of being at larger game there. But certainly it's not my only strategy and probably never will be.
Right. And again, you are utilizing AI generated videos and things like that to do that.
That's the one. Most of my videos I have hundreds of videos on YouTube, and they're all me, my voice, my, quirky sense of humor, if you will.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Megan, how about you? How did you decide which tasks in your creative process are worth automating?
Good question. I definitely mirror what Kimberly said. If I hate it, I don't do it. And so if it's something that can be automated, amazing. But there is definitely a massive asterisk next to that, which is anything that requires empathy, lived experience, my humor, vulnerability, storytelling, that always will stay human, always. And so like something like ChatGPT will tell me where it thinks something needs to go. That's that case, but it's been trained to never tell my story, never tell an experience that I've lived, because that always, I think, needs to come from me. And then I think anything that's repetitive that you don't absolutely love to do. So whether it's outlining research, summaries, formatting notes, turning a podcast into those emails, whatever, all of that, I think anything can be automated as far as that's concerned. And then the last thing that I would say is never automated, and Kimberly referenced this too, is that final check. Like that will always be human, no matter what it is, whether it's an email, an ad, a PDF that's going out, it doesn't matter. Always that will be a final human being check for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. I think that's where that's the key to AI these days is doing those grunt work tasks, right? That crap that takes you away from your main lane that you should be in. So, Tim, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, in my case, my background, I started going into places as a contract, as that dreaded contractor word, because people had gone too far setting something up. So I was the one who was going in, stripping it apart. As why I got a tagline: "Make IT, break IT." Sorry, pressure test it. And people wonder where that comes from. So I'm a very strong believer in setting things up. So yes, you got the stuff that's pretty simple. Like someone fills a form out and move it. Yes, fill a form out on my website. It goes straight into my CRM system automatically. But a lot of websites out there don't do that. It's just an email that goes to. Then you still got to then copy and put it into your CRM. So yeah, anything along those lines, I always say to people, if you can get it, and I set things up this way, if you can get it into your CRM, brilliant. But there still needs to be someone to quality check is it a dead lead? Is it just someone that's gone on a website and just, these marketeers or these rogue AI ones that just are designed to fill out forms on websites, for example. And the other big point that I find is when people go all in and it doesn't even do any checks in the middle, this whole point about having a person doing the being there at the key points, that's what it costs. Companies can be, in some cases, thousands and thousands of pounds to fix, getting somebody to fix it. So yeah, anything that is a process of getting from A to B, but it's got to be quality checked. If it's got to be done 3 or 4 times, say in the middle of the process, I'm all for it. Bear in mind, my background is coming from the multi-million-pound construction sector. So yeah, I think that's. But yeah, the medial stuff, yes, it does it. But anything that has to be quality checked, yeah, you need someone. It needs to go to someone to do
You
that.
need a human to check it.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Alexia, let's get a take from you on this. How do you decide which tasks to automate versus keeping manual?
Yes, well, I really echo what Kimberly and Megan and Tim said. When I feel that initial resistance towards doing something, then I'm like, all right, how can AI help me with this? And sometimes it's not the actual execution of the thing, but it's more of the strategy or the planning of how to do something. So, for example, making a social media calendar where I know each day what is the general topic. And then me being somebody that loves creative writing, then I write the actual post, but social media helps, but AI helps me to set it up. And also I love using AI for the things that are very detailed and technical. So for example, when I was very new to Go High Level and workflows, I was like, I don't know this setting a delay and all of these different things. But I talked to ChatGPT and it helped me to write a super prompt to put into Go High Level so that it could create the workflow for me. So that's another great way as well. If there's something that's too overly technical for you to understand, ChatGPT or whatever your AI of your choices is probably really good at creating that.
All right, awesome. And let's talk about prompt engineering for a minute. This isn't a question that was on the list, so I apologize. But I think it's something that people have brought up here a couple of different times, and it's a question I get all the time from customers. You know, people talk about prompt engineering. You know how you need to go out and get a chat GPT or something like that to write you the prompt that you then put into another platform that to get the output that you want. I guess the question is, how deep do you guys go into prompt engineering? What do you do to create the prompts that you use? Kimberly?
Great question. So I don't use a lot of prompts to give me prompts unless I'm using it to say, I want to build this on my website. Give me the code to put in my website that will make this pretty thing happen, right? So I don't use a lot of prompts to prompt ChatGPT. I talk to it. I think you can get a little too close to it. I have a friend who talks to it like a best friend and like a therapy session. And I'm like, that might be a little too much for me. But I do think that the more you talk to it and use it sort of like a best friend that never gets tired of brainstorming with you, I think the more it trains to what you're looking for.
Mhm.
So the super prompts come from usage. I think the reason people created super prompts is, for example, I recently used one for a group that I was teaching. So I taught a class on, which was a workshop creation lab, and we were all creating workshops. And we ended up, I had hundreds of people on, and I said, put this exact prompt into your tool of choice. As a matter of fact, at the very beginning, I said, some of you have ChatGPT, some of you have, a variety, Claude or Perplexity, whatever you're using is fine. I'm going to give you the prompts to use that you can put in your AI of choice. If you are not using an AI, you're going to need to use your brain. That's your other option, right? Because this is all brain work, but this is going to be your brain faster, right? So I'll give you the exact prompt to use. So I created a prompt for other people to put in to get the result I wanted them to get. So we're creating a workshop for my ideal clients. My ideal client is, and then brackets. So they would put in what their ideal client was. My workshop title is going to be called, and then they would fill that in. So I would give them a prompt to use and put into their ChatGPT. You could call that a super prompt, but for the purposes of me creating super prompts to talk to my own ChatGPT, I think it's too many steps. The more I can talk to it, the better. In the very beginning, I would just say, if they got something wrong, I'd just say, nope, try again. Like
Yeah.
NOPE was one of my favorite words in the beginning.
Well, it's the old garbage in, garbage out thing, you know. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, and I just find that the more specific that you can be, the more specific and detailed that you can be, because it'll kind of just spit out what it wants to spit out unless you tell it not to or give it a specific, request.
In my
So
opinion, and if for what it is, in my opinion, the more you use it, the more you don't have to use super prompts
right,
because you're actually training it to do what you want it to do, and it's training you to give it back feedback. So I think it's that mutual exchange that grows your ability to use it better over time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I've had it give me things back where it's like, well, how did you know that about me? It's like it's a little scary. But Megan, let's get a response from you on that.
Yeah, again, I mirror that. I don't go crazy with my prompt engineering. I'm not writing 47 line system prompts or building this neural network in my basement or something. I just go, I think, deep enough to make AI sound like me, follow my structure, save me time, right? Like that's the whole point behind all of it, but not to replace my brain. So I kind of treat it like I treat leadership, right? I give AI very clear roles, context, tone, structure, just like I would a team member, right? And if a prompt works, then I save it, I reuse it. If it doesn't, then I refine it until it works.
Yes, I think context is really important. Yes.
Yes, yes. And I always, it's just very, very clear. So a lot of times I don't even write sentences in my prompts necessarily. It's like, who is this for? What are we creating? What tone do I want? Right. Like I'm literally, and now I just say, for who? What?
Yeah.
The tone,
Yeah.
structure. And then always I ask it. And I found that this works really well for me. At the very end of anything that I put in, I ask the question, ask me questions if you want clarity,
Yes.
because
I
then
always
it
do that.
won't
Yes.
create something first, right? And so
Yep.
yeah, and then I have a whole bunch of templates because kind of like Kimberly, I found something that gives me exactly what I want. And so I have, my podcast script template and I have my assessment template and my email template and whatnot. And so that prompt template makes it a lot easier and I just fill in the specifics of it. But yeah, I think like Kimberly said, the more you use it, the more you fix it, the more you train
Yep.
it, the better it gets.
Yeah, and I was told a long time ago being a year ago, uh, to act like a movie director, right? You are the movie director and the GPT is the actor. and you're telling it exactly what to do and how you want them to do it and everything. And then if they do it wrong, you say cut, and you tell them more, and you, you get what you want out of them.
Yeah, that's a great metaphor because when you talk back to it, you just say, I don't like that because,
Right.
or that's not hitting the mark because. And the more specific you get in the because, the better it will spit out. And like you said, it remembers everything.
And one of the fun things is that you can actually be mean to it if you want to. It doesn't care. Anyway, Tim, let's get a response from you.
Yeah, so when it comes to me in terms of what I feed into it, because some of the times I'm writing things that have to be very specific to say link this to this and this, but it needs, as Megan said, who's using it, what it's for, just setting even the tone of how it needs to write it. In my case, sometimes where I've got an MSP service behind where I do things remote as well. Yes, I've got scripts that I've written that run, and I have to tell it specifically what it's talking to with that, or it's not going to work. So I'm still going to have to manually clean up 10 computers one night when it's at some unsociable hour for me anyway. So yeah, as I said, it's the more you feed into it to start with. But where I've been using certainly ChatGPT and the Google one as well. ChatGPT now even asks me, do you want me to rephrase this in the in the tone of my business? It's
Right.
remembered what I've tasked it to do before, and I just say yes, and it just goes, okay, so I like the content, and it just adapts it for it. So like I said, it's more, it does remember, it's just I'm giving it the right information, because once it's got the wrong bit, good luck telling it to forget it. That's one thing that I've had clients that have said, oh, we tried playing with it, can't get it to work, and I've gone onto their machine with their account, and yeah, they've just had everyone try setting it up from a technophobe to someone fresh out of university with no real world experience, and they're just thinking that you can just give it theory, it's going to work, for example. So
Right. Now, Tim, you're kind of a techie. Do you use it to write code?
I can write code manually because I was having to write code manually before AI was even a normal thing. I'm talking
Right.
20 plus years ago. But yeah, I do use it to speed up the process. So what would normally take me to write manually, say about half an hour, 20 minutes, I could use it to speed up, create a rough template, and I just adjust the bits that need to be adjusted manually. And yeah, if, as has been said, if that template is roughly generic and work with most things, yeah, I keep it. I've got a folder full of notepad files, which is I just then it's save it for another time if I need it, and it creates like a library of things for me to use. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Alexa, let's get a take from you on prompt engineering.
Yes, so I echo what everybody has said so far, but I also work with people that are pretty adverse to using AI. So I work with a lot of coaches and healers. And so actually providing them with a well-structured template, I call it the Elite AI Prompts template, helps them to really see what the AI can do for them. So in it, it has for them to fill out things like how warm or how cold their audience is, because that completely changes the way that it will write for the audience, or even for them to put in certain documents that AI can scan, because that's a huge thing that will save a lot of time. AI can scan your website, it could scan your LinkedIn or another person's LinkedIn, it could even scan your sales page and pull out key details from it. So I have like a 14 line type of prompt just to fill in, but it's a lot of copy and pasting, as Megan said, just a lot of like brief words. Okay, cold, 8th grade level, or medical professional. And once you put that in, then it gives you back such a verbose. I find the more that you put in initially is the less that you have to do a whole bunch of talking. And to AI, and for people that are very new to it, it helps them to overcome their resistance.
Mhm. Awesome. Well, thank you. And so, how do you prevent your unique voice from being diluted when multiple AI systems are handling different parts of your content? Kimberly?
Yeah, I love being able to feed stuff into it. I actually have an AI that is a chat on my website. And I love it. And you can actually type into it and it will answer things that I would say. The only way that it knew how to say those things is by loading in all kinds of information. So I've luckily been out on the internet talking about all kinds of stuff for years and years, since 2015, just in the newest stuff that I've been doing, and since way before that. But I have a lot of content out there. So you take the YouTube videos, you take your YouTube channel, you take your LinkedIn, you take your Facebook profile, and you just stuff all the stuff in there, and it starts to learn. I pasted former emails that I loved, that I wrote, that I thought were cute and clever, and I'm like this, do it like that. And I think the biggest mistake we can make is not necessarily being like, the biggest mistake we can make is being cautious, is being like, oh my God, what if all my content gets out there and somebody steals it? Well, all my content is pretty much out there anyway, right? The reason people hire me is for that human touch. The reason people work with me is because I'm handing them a microphone and putting them on the stage. All the stuff that I have, they could find it. If I wasn't around, they could find that stuff on Google anyway. And as awesome as your stuff probably is, it's probably out. They could probably find it on YouTube for free. The reason that they're hiring you is for personal help. I think my biggest mistake is basically failing to use it soon enough and trust it soon enough. And then the biggest mistake I have is I shared that I have a team of VAs in the Philippines. They're amazing. I could not do my business without them. I failed to have them start using ChatGPT early enough. I was using it, but I wasn't like having them use it. They would give me something and I'd be like, oh, let me ChatGPT that. And then I would do it and send it back to them. And then my lead admin was like, hey, I did this. I used ChatGPT. And I was like, oh my God, yes. Why haven't I been doing that all along? So I think that our voice needs to be trained into it with all the stuff that we have and the value. And then just don't be afraid to put your stuff in there. I mean, if you have something super proprietary or legal or your financial information, don't put that in there. But if it's just your content that it's going to build more information from, go for it.
Yeah. I'm never afraid to just put my content or my emails that I've written or whatever. That doesn't, who cares? And so, Megan, let's get
You're sending it out anyway.
I know.
That's what we do
Right?
for a living.
Megan, let's get a take from you on that.
Yeah, so same. I train every agent that I use. And, agent, as far as human agents, to me, I treat the AI agents the exact same. So everybody is trained on what I call my business package, right? So everything, my tone, my colors, my key phrases, and the AI agents are no different. So all the way down to how I joke, how I teach, how I pause, my automatic responses to people, all of those things. And then we use an open AI formatting agent where we can allow it to compare versions. And so it compares different agents that we use for throughout a flow process to ensure voice integrity. So that helps. That's probably a few more steps down the line from the people that are listening to this. And then I always make sure that I write my core stories. I talked about that before. So the personal piece, truly me piece of it, if it's something that's going out and has that, I make sure that I feed those stories into it so that it's my verbiage, and it's instructed not to change it. And then, I can't say this enough. My final step for anything is always human. So if you're talking about preventing your voice from being diluted, you should know before anything goes out, because somebody should have read that first. So the content doesn't go out unless my OBM, myself, my COO, somebody has read it and make sure that it sounds like me.
Yeah. I do that. I'm a little bit of a control freak maybe, but yeah, all the emails that go out, I definitely have to read every word of each of those emails before it goes out. You know what I mean? So, Tim, how about you? Oh, looks like you're on mute.
There you go. Yeah, so yeah, I'm a really strong believer in, again, you having people in checking at certain stages. So yeah, I very much believe if you don't want something to go out, it was already been mentioned about proprietary information or stuff behind the scenes. There's projects I've worked on where I can't talk about the behind the scenes stuff and what goes on. So with those websites, yes, there's things that I put in place. So AI can't just go in and do a scan of the content, for example. But for anything when it comes to creating things that you're happy with what's going out, for example, my own social media stuff that I do on LinkedIn. I always try and do a personal touch, which is always I record the videos myself. So when I took a couple of weeks to go sort some family stuff out recently, I recorded the videos ahead of time, and I work with the local university with some trainees, as I call some students that are in training. So it's work experience for them while they're actually doing a course, doing the degree course. And one of it is they wrote the content, but I still had the final. I've got something in place before they post it. They put it onto an internal system I've got that with an AI. Yes, it checks it out. It compares it to something else I've written, but while I was away, for example, it picked up 3 times that one of them was still trying to put their own way of writing things into it. So again, it's the person that kicked in, and because they hit 3 times, I got an email saying, "Can you say I need to intervene to just check it?" Like you said, it's having their checks in place, but yes, there's things checking it still me to save time, so I could be technically away sorting stuff out. But for each 4 weeks, it looks like I'm putting stuff out on social media.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And Alexia, let's get a take from you on this as well.
Yes, this is such a great question because as somebody that loves creative writing, I used to be an English teacher, I love poetry. It's very important to have your authentic voice in everything that you do, especially as it's going out there, because as Kimberly beautifully expressed, the person is coming to you for an experience with you, not an interface with AI. And so it's, to me, I always put quotations around what I do not want ChatGPT to or whatever AI to change. And I explicitly tell it, don't do that. But another thing is when it does change it, because it decides it's the expert, I tell it, hey, this does not sound like me, and this is why. It's too technical. It's not compassionate enough. And once I do that, then it helps it to learn, and it then crafts itself around my authentic voice.
Perfect. All right. And so, what technical skills does a writer need to develop to effectively orchestrate multi-agent systems? Kimberly?
Speaking and desire. That's it. If you got
That's it.
both of those things, you're gonna be fine. Don't overthink it. Like if you're one of the great things about ChatGPT and all of the AIs is that you can actually ask AI, right? You can say, I don't know what to do next. And it'll be like, oh, you need to open Canva. And you're like, okay, well, then I'm stuck because when I open Canva, this doesn't happen. Or you can say, hey, I'm trying to build this on my website and I can't figure that out. And it'll be like, oh, you need to open the menu. And you can actually I don't know if you guys know this, this is a huge breakthrough for anyone. You can dump screenshots into ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah.
So I take a screenshot of where I am and I'm like, it's not on the menu, sweetheart. Where is it? Right. And they're like, oh, you're right. Now it's over here. Right. You got to click the icon or whatever. So you actually just keep talking to ChatGPT saying, I don't know how to do this. And it will actually tell you how to do it. So you need your brain, you need the ability to talk, and you can actually speak to it as well, or you can type.
Yep.
And then you just need desire. And you're like, okay, I want to create a 6-figure program that's a year long. with 3 major events in it and coaching. What else should I include? And it's like, how about you include your program that you did before? Or how about you add on a worksheet? Or how about, and it just brainstorms with you. So I think we're all overthinking it and trying to be software programmers when we don't. AI is designed to talk to humans who don't know stuff.
Right.
And that's what
Yep.
we're using it for.
Yep. In fact, I was building a prospecting agent a couple of weeks ago, and I was using one of those no code platforms, and it wasn't working very well. So I went to ChatGPT, and I started feeding it the screenshots.
Yeah,
And here's what I'm getting. What am I missing? And it goes, oh, sorry, yeah, I meant to say to do this. Oh, great, thank you. And it went back and forth, and ended up building the thing out. So yeah, it was awesome. Megan, how about you?
Again, Kimberly, right on. Absolutely. I think it's important to know, and this might not be Tim's answer, but you don't need to know any coding. You need clear communication, clear organization, and the ability to analyze what comes back. I think what's really important, because ChatGPT or any of the AI agents, they will take over your world in an amazing way, but it's still your world. So you need your vision, your hope, your timeline, your workflow, right? All of that, and keep that true to you, and then ask it to modify what it's giving you to that. So yeah, I honestly think there's not a lot of technical needs. Just be a clear communicator, very organized, and being able to analyze what comes back out. And like Kimberly said, desire. I mean, just keep asking, keep hunting, keep trying. Yeah, I would say
Beautiful.
no technical skills.
Awesome. Tim, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much Megan was dead on where she said there's the thing about to use all the stuff. You don't need to have the programming thing and know how to program. But the thing that I found that's in terms of controlling that is where I've gone in when things have already gone wrong. I'm talking about companies that are being sold to another one, which is why I've had to go in. It got that bad. It was down to behind the scenes. You need having the AI so people can do their jobs good, but you need to still have that security behind it, as in the people like myself who go, no, you can't do this, because if you get someone who doesn't know what they're doing and they delete something that they shouldn't do, and it happens still to this day, small family businesses are my bread and butter for this reason. They don't they use all the tools, but they don't understand, well, if I tell it to delete that, what's the consequence of it? And then then the computer goes down, and then they're in trouble for it. So yeah, in terms of technical, there isn't a lot of technical, but you still need, the key things are common sense and the confidence to know what you want, what you need. So, and I just call it full planning. So yeah, if you've got a script that you know works, and you just say, ask a set of questions, and that's what you tell your staff to do, then that's what you do.
Yeah, and I
It's
think it's
simple
just
as
like
that.
anything else, where it just takes some practice, right? It takes some practice of knowing how to talk to it, knowing how to get out of it what you want from it.
Yeah, it's also quite easy for someone to ask the wrong thing and say, oh, what happens if you delete that? And then they delete the wrong file, then the computer stops working. Doesn't
Right.
matter if it's a Mac or it's Apple or PC. I've seen it on both fronts. So yeah, it is not about the technical so much. It's about being confident, knowing that you're confident you're not going to break it as well. And that's where I've
Right.
seen people struggle when I've gone in to say, why can't our staff handle what we've got?
Right.
They've
Well,
given them it, and the other one is there's no training. That's the other one that lets people down.
right. We're always
So
going to need people like you, Tim, because to keep our computers working. Alexia, let's get a take on this from you.
Yes, I agree with everybody in terms of you don't need to be technical genius to be able to navigate these AI systems. I actually tell my ChatGPT all the time, I'm like, treat me like if I'm a baby, because sometimes it likes to be sarcastic and, tell me additional things that get me confused. And I'm like, no, you need to streamline this for me, help me to understand. But also a really great thing to put into your AI is how you want the if you're building something out where it's going out to an audience, how you want them to feel. because sometimes AI cannot assess that. It can understand how you want them to think and maybe what you want them to do, but the feeling is something that you really want to embed into it.
Perfect. Okay, guys, well, listen, we have flat run out of time here. So it's been a fantastic and very enlightening conversation. This has been amazing. And I want to thank all the panelists for all of the amazing input. Keep in mind that the AI Writing Summit 3.0 is brought to you by High Level. And not only will we have two special presentations, Tuesday and Thursday, but there's going to be a live raffle on Friday midday Pacific time, and you could win an Apple iPad. The raffle is free to attend, but you do need to register to attend. So I guess, oh look, we've got a QR code. Woohoo! I didn't know we had that. And so, get signed up for that, and we'll see you on Friday for that raffle. And also, don't forget to grab your copy of the AI Writing Summit 3.0 Gold Pass. It'll give you lifetime access to all of the recordings and transcripts for the entire summit, including both the keynote interviews and the panel discussions, as well as the special presentations. Plus, you'll get over $6,000 worth of courses, masterclasses, workshops, prompt engineering tutorials, and a whole bunch of other resources. And you'll get it for probably less than you paid for a full tank of gas. And so the link's on the page here. So be sure to check out the Gold Pass. Go right now and grab yours before life gets in the way and you forget about it. So be sure to check out all the keynote interviews as they come available throughout the day and for the rest of the summit here. And we'll see you again later this afternoon at the 1 p.m. Pacific panel, where we're going to be talking about the great AI divide, understanding publishing's creative authenticity wars. So that should be really interesting. So again, thank you all of our panelists. This has been amazing. And we will see you at the rest of the summit.
Thanks for having us.